Okay, here we go. I am recording my Week 10 preps for the Not So Casual Pokemon League. As you can see here, the matchup is between myself with the Legless Legion and Tanner. Tanner picked up Mordigan's team after Mordigan dropped, but he did make a fair few changes to it. So we're looking at here. Great Tusk, obviously the biggest threat, as in any matchup. It kind of just does everything: spin, rocks, removal, damage, strong attack, etc. Weavile's scary in particular for my team because I'm rather weak to the whole ice type. This has been kind of a running theme for me this season. I just don't have the best matchup against it, and Weavile happens to be a physical ice type, which is even worse for me given that Melodic is mostly a specially defensive Pokemon. Thundurus could be pretty scary, mostly because my faster Pokemon... Megalodios is obviously good against it, but Thundurus is not. So my faster Pokemon are not great answers, and it does... depending on what coverage moves it selects, it could be pretty problematic. It is a little limited. If it wants to hit Hydrapple, it really needs Sludge Bomb. If it wants to hit Ferrothorn, it really needs Focus Blast. If it wants to sit up, it needs Nasty Plot. But yeah, it could definitely be a problem. I could definitely see it running Thunderbolt, Focus Blast, Sludge Bomb, Nasty Plot, though. I'm a little scared of that. Thankfully, Latios with Max Special Attack Draco Meteor does one-shot it, so we're not screwed if it gets in, but we might have to make a sack to force it out. Toxapex, I'm not too worried about, given that I have Latios and a bunch of poison types that can't be poisoned, obviously. In fact, the only Pokemon on my team susceptible to Toxic Spikes is Hydrapple, which doesn't care that much with a generator, so... Toxapex not super scary, but I still want something for it, just in case. Arcanine could be a bit of a problem. I'm not amazing into the fire type, especially with what I brought, but Hydrapple's Romple is pretty good. Tornadus could also be a bit of a problem. Same idea as Thundurus, it's faster than actually everything I have, and it hits pretty hard, and yeah, could be a threat. Celebi, I'm not too afraid of, but I wouldn't be completely shocked if it showed up. It's definitely a good Pokemon, and I'm not really flush with bug types, so it's not super worried about that, but, I do have my ways around it if it does show up. Bronzing I could definitely see coming. I don't really have the greatest ways to hit it, and it also is his best answer into Latios Mega, who otherwise gets to kind of just click Dragon moves without worrying too much. There's also Aromatisse, but... neither Aromatisse is pretty bad, so if he wants a real answer in a Dragon, he's probably going to have to go Bronzong. So I do expect to see it. We'll get into that in a minute. Phalanx, not a huge threat. It's just kind of a bad Pokemon, and Diglett also not a huge threat. Now, I will say I do have two Pokemon that are trapped and killed by Diglett, so I don't want to completely write it off, but... or two Pokemon on my team, only one on my draft, only one that I'm bringing. But anyways, let's get into what I got. So... I have brought Megalodios is Pokemon I'm bringing basically every week. It's just really, really good. Dragon clicks super well into this team. Every time I drop a Draco, ideally something dies. Bronzong could switch in, but Luster Purge and Shadow Ball could be pretty problematic for it. So, yeah, Latios just really good. 3 attacks recover, pretty straightforward, pretty simple. Weezing, Weezing's kind of an interesting set here. The main goal with it is to the main goal with it is to answer Weavile, but beyond that, it's pretty solid into Tusk in the sense that Tusk needs Heavy Slam to beat it. Now, there's a good chance Tusk does have Heavy Slam, but 1, we would live Heavy Slam if it came down to it, and 2, we could punish Tusks that don't have Heavy Slam, and we're going to get into Tusk moveset in a minute. Glamora I have is kind of interesting. So typically when you have Glamora, a lot of people will assume you're going to lead with it, so you can kind of use that information a little bit. But also, I'm actually not running Toxic Debris to Glamora. I think there's a good chance he runs a good few boots on a lot of his Pokemon. The scary flying types are immune to it, Toxic Spikes can absorb them, so I didn't really feel like Toxic Spikes were that amazing here. However, I am running Corrosion, and the idea is Bronzong switches into Glamora pretty freely, so I figured, what if we run Corrosion and poison it? And more importantly, Bronzong is the main answer to Latios, so if we poison it, we're sitting pretty. So that's the basic idea with Glamora. I ran a very bulky set because I'm basically trying to run Salazzle with it, Toxic, Substitute, Spiky Shields, and I think if I can get that off versus Weavile, that'd be great. Hydrapple is mostly there to be a pretty good Tusk check. If Tusk doesn't have Ice Spinner, it basically can't touch Hydrapple, and even if it does, we do live Ice Spinner from full and kill back with Giga Drain. So Hydrapple's a pretty solid Tusk check. It's also pretty good against Arcanine, and it's okay against Thundurus. Depends on whether it has Sludge Bomb. Assuming it does, then it's not amazing, but you know, with Assault Vest we can take a hit and click Fickle Beam. And again, Dragon clicks pretty well into this team as well. I have Heavy Slam in case Aromatisse comes. I don't think it will, but we shall see. Mischievous I have, again, as a Tusk check. Now, remember how I said if it doesn't have Heavy Slam, it can't hit Weezing. If it doesn't have Ice Spinner, it can't hit Hydrapple. Well, if it doesn't have Knockoff, it can't really hit Mischievous. So, between these three, I'm forcing 3 move slots on Tusk that aren't at Stabs and aren't Rapid Spin. It cannot reasonably fit all of those. Even if it just goes Rapid Spin in 1 stab, or even if it forgoes Rapid Spin to click 2 stabs, it still can't hit all 3 of these. So, it really... The only way he could hit my entire team is if he knew ahead of time what I was bringing. Because if he doesn't go for Close Combat or Headlong Rush, then there's stuff he's not hitting. If he doesn't go for Rapid Spin, he's not removing hazards, so... I'm kind of forcing Tusk into a situation where it has to pick its move slots, and given that Mischievous is a 1-pointer, I don't think it'll bring Knockoff, so... That's kind of Mischievous's main role here. It's to spin block Tusk and to just kind of threaten this team. The reason for its move slots in particular is if I can predict Weavile coming in on it, then I can Thunder Wave it. If I want to set up on Bronzong or Toxapex, I can Taunt to prevent Toxic. And then in general, Combine Mischievous, once Weavile's dead, does very well into this team. So if I can, you know, get rocks up, force Weavile to take them, or if it's Boots, maybe get it to kill itself by punching Ferrothorn. I think Mischievous could actually do really well here in an endgame. We shall see if that actually holds up, but it's the thought at least. And Ferrothorn is just your bog standard Ferrothorn here. Click Body Press, click Knockoff, Stealth Rock, Leech Seed. You know, his big 2 threats are Weavile and Great Tusk, so it's pretty solid into both of those. So, yep, Ferrothorn's not doing anything too fancy. Anyways, that's my idea with the team. As a general idea, it's just try to eliminate Bronzong for Latios, try to eliminate or paralyze and then eliminate Weavile for Mischievous, and then see if either of those can win the game. Alright, see you when the game starts.